All right, everybody, welcome back to the Extra Innings Podcast. I'm your host, Elijah Rodriguez, and we are back today with another episode. And today, as I'm sure you could probably guess if you looked at the title, we're going to be talking about this whole thing with Marcano, or I'm having a hard time, Tucupita Marcano, who just received a lifetime ban. And honestly, for me, I don't know if MLB is giving out any other lifetime bans. I haven't seen any, but obviously the next closest one that everyone's heard of, especially for the same kind of subject matter, betting on baseball, is Pete Rose. So obviously Marcano got the lifetime ban yesterday at only 24 years old. So that's detrimental to his career, obviously in the big leagues or anything in North America to play ball here. And then there were also 4 others who received year-long bans or suspensions, basically. And it was 1, 2, 3, 4 others. The only notable one, I think Kelly was a bigger guy who was on a big league roster. Andrew Saalfrank was another big one that pitched actually in the World Series last year. Big piece for the Diamondbacks, received a year-long suspension for betting on baseball. Those seem very minuscule, honestly, and when you compare, and I'm assuming I haven't read up on all the details, and I'm not really well versed in sports betting, so I'm just going to be honest there, but it looks like these guys are average bet. They did like 10, 30, 20, and the average was like $20. So I think that's what the reasoning was. Marcano, and we're going to get into his details, are a little bit outrageous and they're pretty depressing, honestly, when you get in the grand scheme of things of his lifetime ban and then how much he won, how much he bet. It's pretty depressing. But full disclosure, I'm not a sports betting guy. I've never been. I did it in Vegas when we were in Vegas at Circa for the sports book, just for the experience, just to say I did a sports bet at Circa. But I'm not a sports better. I number one, I just don't see the point. I think sports are too wishy-washy to place any sort of wager on it, to be honest, because anything can happen, especially in baseball. I do play fantasy. I do some I guess you could say technically sports gambling and for fantasy football, especially for college and all that. So that's different. But when it comes to like basketball and like some of these other crazy things, I'm not about it. And I've got friends that do it. That's cool for them. I think it's entertaining. It keeps the game exciting for those who are just watching. Gives them a little bit of skin in the game when they're watching it. It makes it a little more thrilling, exciting. But that's just it's not for me. But I digress. Anyway, so let's get into this, guys. So obviously, and on top of that, obviously they finally officially closed their investigation with Otani's translator. I'm not going to even try to Ipa or whatever his name is, or however you pronounce it. Pleaded guilty to all the tax and fraud charges, so he's going to take the fall, whatever. We don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to even talk about it, but he is taking full responsibility. It's on him. Shohei has been completely cleared. His name's cleared. That's done. And then obviously this breaks out. So obviously there's a lot of, and with how widely publicized and promoted sports betting is, it's really hard to get away from it now, especially if you're watching. I can't even watch MLB Network now because it's got the bets and the odds and everything with, sportsbook power, everything on ESPN. Everything is over under always. Yet they want to ban and frown upon sports betting, yet they're promoting the shit out of it and making millions. But we're going to get into all that. But anyway, so let's talk about Tupika or how do you pronounce this man's name? Tucupita Marcano. Okay, Tucupita Marcano. Let's see. All right. Yeah, so he got the lifetime ban. Let me see if I can find. There was kind of a graphic I had that kind of outlined it a little bit. But anyway, no, I can't find that one. So let's find it here. It's in here for sure. Okay, so and this is where it gets. So Marcano obviously has been up and down in the big leagues. Played a little bit. Let's look at his stats. I don't think that he was crazy good, honestly, because he was kind of going back and forth between the minors and the big leagues. Let's see what we got here. And with the Padres, obviously, what kind of hurt me more was like, dude, was it worth it? Like, you're 24 years old. Your career is basically over before it even started. I don't know. So he was in San Diego in 2021, posted a 182 average. Then he was in Pittsburgh for the last 2 years, 206 in 2022, 233 in 2023, 35 strikeouts, 44 strikeouts. I mean, not horrible. I mean, he's okay, average player, but like you don't even know what it could have been because he's not going to play anymore. I mean, he's probably going to go play in Korea or in the LMB in Mexico, wherever. But I mean, for the most part, his career, and I mean, it's not for the most part, it is for his career in Major League Baseball and MILB is done. So whatever could have been, that's pretty depressing. But The thing that's more, upsetting, and it's just like, why was this worth it, bro? So he's 24 years old. He was traded to the Pirates for the Adam Frazier trade. Okay, so, and I guess I don't understand. Like, you have to know, like, that betting on baseball, if you're any fan of the game, if you've watched Major League Baseball, like, everyone knows the horror story that is Pete Rose, one of the greatest baseball players to play, an absolute monster, gets a lifetime ban for betting on baseball and betting on games, dude. Like, that is the oldest and craziest story. He'll never be in the Hall of Fame. He'll never get any accolades, but he was a fucking hell of a ball player. But we'll never know. We'll never be able to solidify that because he was betting on baseball. And it's a storied, it's one of the biggest stories in baseball, like, to this day. If you haven't heard of Pete Rose and what's going on with Pete Rose, I mean, you're living under a rock, because it's a huge story. And, like, you would just think, if I'm him, and, like, obviously got some, like, why are you gonna bet on the game that you play, knowing, I just find it hard to believe they didn't know about that. Like, you're gonna get caught and it's gonna be bad. They've already in the past given out lifetime bans. What would make you an exception? Stupid. You could bet on, you could do anything. Go do anything else. Just don't bet on baseball, bro. Like, that's so stupid. So dumb, man. 24 years old. But anyway, so getting into the specifics here, it looks like he didn't just bet on it, and this is off CBS. I'm just kind of finding news articles to kind of get the nitty-gritty details to give you guys. He bet over $150,000 in nearly 400 different baseball bets, including MLB and international. So he's not only betting on Major League Baseball, he's betting on other leagues as well. And the even more stupid thing, guys, the worst thing about this, and this is where I'm just like, I don't think you can get any any worse, or you just didn't give a fuck. Like, that's fine. Maybe you didn't give a shit. Maybe you're just a slime ball. You're like, I don't fucking care about this. I want to make the big bucks instead of grinding your ass off, getting a big contract and playing. You would have made millions to begin with had you just busted your ass and been a good ball player. But you wanted the fast route this way, right? Over $150,000, and some of them, almost all of them, I'm sorry, because he bet on his own team, the Pirates. So he was betting on his own team in game, and he didn't play in any of the games, mind you. Like I said, he was a pretty low guy. He didn't play every day, so he was betting on games. He didn't play, but it was on his own team, his teammates, bro. How? Why? Like, you had to have known that wasn't gonna go well, bro. I don't get it. So he bet on his own team, a team he was a part of. When he was, it wasn't even like, oh, I'm in the system. Maybe I'm in the minor league system. I'm gonna bet. No. He was on the fucking big man roster, the 40, the big league roster, betting on those guys how they play. Stupid. And he bet on whether they would win or not, and if there would be certain runs scored in the game. And here is the depressing part, guys. He only won 4.3% of those bets. Only won 4.3% of all those bets. Over $150,000 bet, and you only won less than 5% of those bets. So not only did you get handed a lifetime ban, you'll never be able to step foot on a major league park again. You didn't win shit. So all of that for nothing. You lost your career for a bunch of losses. Make it make sense, please. I doesn't make any sense, man. It's a loss all the way around, guy. Like, what are you doing? I mean, if I was this guy's brother, I would slap the shit out of him. But what the fuck are you thinking, dude? You have the opportunity to play, to make you just got your career started. Give another 2 years, you could have been a big league solidified person on a roster because your stats weren't bad. You could have done something. God, it's just disappointing. And then let's get into some of these other bets. So Kelly for the Athletics, he's probably the notable person because he was one that was actually on the active roster all year long. He bet when he was on the Astros AAA team, he placed 10 bets on 9 MLB games. 3 of them are Houston games. So another guy who's kind of an idiot. Between October 5th, 2021 and oh God, this was years ago. October 2021 and October 17th. This was obviously the postseason. He bet $199.22 and won 5 of those bets, putting him at a net win of $28. So he won $28, and he's losing a year of his career. Groom, who was on the Red Sox high A team, made 32 bets on MLB games between July 2020 in July 22nd, 2020, and July 24th, 2021, including 24 on Boston games, who are a club he was a part of. And we're gonna get into this. I got some thoughts, but including 24 games on Boston. So on the MLB team, he was part of the high A. It was very far from the big leagues. He bet $453.74 and lost $433, and he only received 2 payouts on 2 bets. So another guy who took a big fat loss there. He won what, $20 maybe? All right, and then we got Rodriguez. Oh, I don't want no damn ads. All right, we got Rodriguez, who was playing for the White Sox Double-A team, made 31 baseball bets from September 30th, 2021 to June 5th, 2022, all the way through July 30th, 2022, including several college baseball games. So in total, he bet almost $800, so about $749.09. $724 went to MLB. So out of that $749, he said he bet on a couple college games. I'd say about 99% was towards MLB bets. So guys, you cannot bet on Major League Baseball if you are employed, if you are on an organization. How do you guys not know this? So dumb, man. And then the last one, who's the guy that I knew about, which was Andrew Saalfrank. Kelly, I know about Kelly, but he's on the Athletics, so it's not like there's a whole lot of news going on about him. But he wasn't bad. A 2.59 ERA, man. You're having a year, now you got to lose that year. So stupid, man. For nothing. For $20 fucking. God, if I was a buddy of these guys, I'd slap the shit out of him. Andrew Saalfrank, who's on the injured list of the Diamondbacks low A affiliate. What? Oh wow, he went way down. I'll say Saalfrank, we saw him pitch last year in the fucking World Series, bro. Now he's down in low A. That ain't good. Anyway, he made 28 MLB related bets and won on a college baseball game between September 9th, 2021 and October 29th, 2021, and then again on March 9th, 2022. He bet $445.87 on baseball. $444.07 of that 445 were MLB related bets. He had a net loss. That means he lost $200. He lost $272.64 on MLB bets, losing all but 5 of his entirety bets. So he bet 28 times and he won only 5. He also lost his $1.80 college bet. Saalfrank pitched in 2 games in the majors for the Diamondbacks this year. Yeah, so he was not doing good, I guess. And last year, like I said, I remember watching him pitch in the World Series last year. So yeah, that was really stupid. This guy fucking net loss of 200. So like, you not only lost your year, so you can't play for the year. But also you lost $272. Bro, what the fuck are you thinking? Like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking, man? It's just dumb, man. And I'm gonna get into why I think this is kind of it's kind of a what do you call it? It's a conflict of interest, in my opinion, right? But we'll get into that. I just think, and to kind of recap this, all these guys, like, you lost. You didn't win shit. It's not like you took home a big fat fucking payday. It's not like you bet on baseball and you're now getting a year suspension or your life suspension, and you're like, well, it's okay. Like, I won all the bets. I'm sitting pretty. I made $1 million or whatever you made. No, all of these guys made literally nothing. They all lost more than they won. A lot of these guys winning, coming out on top by like $20. Saalfrank, who lost $200. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And if I was in that position and I'm looking at how did they not play these odds, these rundowns, and how this was possibly going to go before they started doing this? Like, did they think, I'm nobody, I'm not going to get caught? Like, it's just you don't do it. You don't do it. It's been told to not do it. Stupid all the way around, right? And here is my dilemma, and this is something I've heard a lot of people talk about, and we're going to kind of switch gears a little bit, tailoring towards kind of more the business side of things, I guess. And here's the point I'm trying to make, guys, and this is why I think it's all really stupid, and it makes MLB look like looks like they're a little bit hypocrisy. I think a little bit of making MLB look like a little bit of hypocrites. And here's why, because here's the thing, and I get it. And it is, again, I see it from both sides, right? So you see the players and you see a lot of people outraged that they're like, well, MLB shouldn't have the right to tell these guys what they can or can't do because they're profiting and making millions from all these sports books, from DraftKings, from FanDuel, from all this shit. The MLB, pockets quite a bit of money on these bets. And a lot of people nationwide, everywhere, are making these bets, right? So betting on sports has become increasingly popular over the last couple of years. And in fact, it's become so popular that you can't get on ESPN. You can't watch MLB Network. You can't watch NBA Network. You can't watch NFL Network without seeing overs and unders, odds, everything. Even sponsored by Caesars at sometimes. So, like, yeah, guys, like, sports betting has exploded. You go to Vegas. Obviously, Vegas is a completely different place, but now there's sports books in almost every single major casino. Like, it's everywhere. Like, Circa built a massive space that you can watch pretty much every sporting event that's happening in the world and wager your bets. Like, and you can bet now on basically everything. So it's like sports gambling, sports betting has grown into this massive almost enterprise. And as MLB is pocketing all this cash, like, people are saying, "Oh, it's unfair that they're going to sit here and make all this money," but then they're like, "Oh, you bet and gave us money? Well, fuck you. You're banned." Right? Now, I can see from the general population saying, "Hey, that's not right. That's unfair." But here's the thing, guys, and this is what I'm going to tell you. It's no different, you know, there's some like I look at this like this. There's employers, there's jobs that you're going to do where it's like, hey, you can't do XYZ because you are an employee of our company, whether that's you can't do whatever. It's like there's places, right? There's places that'll still drug test these days. There's places that'll drug test, especially in the workforce. You're going to drug test. They're like, hey, I know like marijuana may be legal and wherever you're living, California, New York, Vegas, and maybe in Arizona. Hey, we get it. Marijuana might be legal in this state, legally, recreationally, whatever. But as an employee of our company, you are subject to drug tests and you are not allowed to partake in those substances. It's the same concept. These guys could definitely, if like they're in California, if they're in Seattle, if they're in one of the countries where marijuana is legal, like they're athletes, they're actually not allowed to do that. They're subject to drug testing. If they get drug tested and they fail, they will be suspended, even though a normal person walking down the road is able to do it and they're just fine. Like, it just depends. And as what we forget sometimes is that these guys are employees of Major League Baseball. They just work for a company, almost a subsidiary within Major League Baseball. So they're all employees, and they're told specifically, strictly, hey, I know this is legal for just about everybody else in the fucking world, but you are a Major League Baseball player. You are an athlete. You are not allowed to partake in those. And the rules are very clear. It's not like it's some underlying rule, like where it's like in the fine print, I didn't know I couldn't do this. No, it's very easily and readily available to know I am not allowed to bet on Major League Baseball. So I can see people upset, but these guys are not the general population. They're not held to the same standards as normal people. Therefore, they're not allowed to do some of the things that, me and you or whoever else listening would be able to do. And it's that simple. It's that easy. So I see it from both sides. I do. I see it. And there's the other point that some of these guys, when they were making these bets, 3-4 years ago, before these guys even made it to the big leagues, obviously not talking about Mercado, the big guy, the lifetime ban man, because he was betting when he was there. Like, so he's a whole different story. But these other guys like Kelly, like back when he was with the AAA team, so he's in minor league, so he probably didn't think much of it. I'll bet a couple $100 here, like whatever, just for fun, right? No, came back to get you. All these other guys were all in single A, high A. So I get it. I understand. Like, they probably thought nothing of it. I'm down here, way here in single A, double A, triple A, high A, whatever. Who fucking cares if I make a bet on Major League Baseball? I'm down here. Well, they did, and they give a shit because Sal Franco ended up pitching in the major leagues, right? In the fucking World Series, nonetheless. Kelly, who was part of the big league roster. So I don't think that they took this into consideration, that they would maybe at one point in their careers, maybe they had no confidence. I don't know. They thought maybe I'm not going to make it to the big leagues at one point. I don't know. But like, that's obviously the goal. Like, why would you put that in jeopardy? I don't know. Maybe I think differently. But in all honesty, guys, like, and again, I'll recap. I do see it from both sides. I see the fact that, hey, everyone's doing this. Everyone in the world's doing this. Why can't they? And I explained all that. And I believe it to be true. Yes, you technically are a normal person, but as you're an employee of this company, right? Major League Baseball, you're an employee of this subsidiary company, the Diamondbacks, whoever you're playing for, the Athletics, you as an employee of this organization are not allowed to partake in those activities. Same as somebody who is living in a place where marijuana or something is legal and they're not allowed to do it because their job tells them they cannot do it. They're subject to drug testing. It's the same concept. The general population can do this, but you cannot. And as much as I want to see the other side, I have to come to my conclusion here and say that it's not a secret that they didn't know that they're not allowed to do this. They broke the rules. One broke it in a major way and took a fat L. The other guys, hey, slap on the wrist. It was only about $20, but don't fucking do it again, basically. And yeah, I think that it's true. And this has been a rule for years. Like I said, we go all the way back to Pete Rose, man, who got in trouble betting on games and received a lifetime ban. Like, it's not new. It's not new. But I do think that if MLB is going to start being as strict, and this is one thing I will say, if MLB is going to be as strict as they are with the suspensions and all this stuff, the lifetime bans, that's fine. Then how about we just kind of lower the emphasis on sports betting a little bit? Like, let's kind of take it off the fucking bars at the bottom of your TV screens. Let's not give odds every 5 seconds prior to games. Like, I'm just playing devil's advocate. Obviously, that's probably not going to happen because, like I said, this is turning into this massive enterprise and it's turning into this massive business. So that's not going to happen. Major League Baseball is not going to stop promoting you and telling you to give them more money. It's not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen. But I think that that's the best way. If you're going to be this serious about it, then be that serious and not promoting it as much as you are now. So I don't know, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that this was justified? Do you think it was too much? Do you think it was stupid? Do you agree with me? Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, I'm always open to discussion, and this was kind of a crazy moment, especially how big sports betting's getting, and then it started at the beginning of the year with the Ohtani thing, and now we're kind of into this point. But I think it's been a rule, guys. I can't stress enough. It's been a rule. Everyone knows do not bet on baseball. But thanks for listening, guys. We're going to have a lot more podcasts, a lot more stuff happening. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok. We got a lot of social content, little short form content, some funny videos on there. We got another breakdown coming either tomorrow or Friday. I already found the video I'm going to do. I'm just going to find the time to record it. So stay tuned for that. But again, guys, thanks for listening, and we will catch you guys on the next episode.